Hey Milo. So it's a little bit after 7 a.m., which is really early for me, especially because it's a little after 7 a.m. and I'm completely ready to go, which means that I've been up for a little bit. I have a conference I'm going to in Ames, which is the town Tony and I have gone to multiple times. But I'm very excited about this conference. They're kind of bringing together high school students and people who work with kids and youth, people who want to work with kids and youth, and people from the community to kind of talk about how to reach out to youth in difficult situations. The keynote speaker I'm very excited for, it's Jay Asher. He's the author of 13 Reasons Why. I don't know if you've ever read that, but it's a very, very good book. So I thought I would vlog about this conference because it's going to be really cool, and I've been looking forward to it for a couple weeks now.
So 13 Reasons Why begins with this boy. He's a junior in high school. He comes home from school one day and he finds a package addressed to him on his doorstep. And inside this package are 7 audio cassettes. And their sides are labeled 1 through 13. And eventually he finds a way to play tapes. Puts in the first tape, presses play. Out comes the voice of Hannah Baker, a classmate of his who 2 weeks earlier committed suicide. And what she says is that on each side of each tape, she's going to tell the story of somebody at her school who she feels led her to that decision. And that if you've received the tapes, you're one of the reasons why. So after I wrote it, and while I was editing, then I did some research, and I found out a couple things. Are these crisis hotlines that are out there? For some reason, I wasn't aware of these. And I'd love to know that they're getting more press now. And I think these are one of the most beautiful things our society offers. Because like I said, when somebody's feeling vulnerable, they have to make themselves more vulnerable to reach out for help if they don't know the person they're going to reach out to is going to listen. So the fact that there are these numbers there, that when you don't know who to talk to, the fact that there are people who definitely want to talk to you, the fact that these are strangers who are literally sitting there wanting you to call when you need them, I think, again, is one of the most beautiful things. And the sad thing about a lot of the emails I get is I get a lot of these that say, it makes me feel so much better knowing that someone understands. Because I don't think a book should ever be anybody's first time feeling understood, but it just goes to the problem that when we don't talk about these things in a really open and honest way, it makes the vulnerable less likely to ask for help, and so they run to books. And if my book is their first time feeling understood, great, that's amazing for me to hear. But like I said, it makes me feel sad. And that's why I get upset when books get banned, because they deal with these kinds of issues, which has happened a lot to my book. A couple years ago, my book was actually the 3rd most challenged book in the entire country. To put that in perspective, number 1 was Captain Underpants, and number 4 was 50 Shades of Grey. So I was right in between Underpants and Shades of Grey, which is a really weird place to be. So trying to limit access to books like this are going to make people like this still feel misunderstood or not understood. So we need to stand up for books like this.
So I'm in this workshop called Cultivating a Sex-Positive Society or something like that. We're playing sexuality bingo, which includes questions such as identifies as non-heterosexual, has a favorite erotic/sexual fantasy, and all kinds of really personal things, so I'm not really going to film while asking people. But we're all just walking around for about 10 minutes and trying to get as many as we can from other people. So the workshop is done on the sexuality and stuff. So we did that bingo game, we did a couple like table questions and stuff, and then we each wrote on a piece of paper, like as a table, things we can do or things that need to happen to like kind of make sex less taboo and make more of a sex positive environment in the world. These are some of them, so just sex ed, not just reproductive ed, explaining some of the non-binary things about sexuality, open communication, just a lot of different things. And there's lots of different ones on all the different tables. But this was a really interesting workshop and I'm very glad I attended this one. So I'm in another workshop after lunch now about like awareness and human trafficking. So we just watched a video about 3 people who were trafficked from Iowa, and it was kind of depressing, and I'm just kind of in a mood at the moment. But now I get to go be artistic. Over here we've got like art stuff. We're making banners and stuff, like, to raise awareness. So maybe going to be artistic will kind of help me get out of a mood. So I'll show you some of the banners once we're getting a little more done. So some people are still working on their banners and stuff. I think we finished ours. It's really pretty. We made it. It's like got my body, my way up there. You don't have to be a victim. Little car for like human trafficking. And then she's like giving in even though she doesn't want to, and then this says no more statistics. And yeah, so banner gonna be carried around like at parades and hung up places and stuff, and then other people are just working on theirs, and it's really awesome. So I just finished with my last workshop thing. I'll be headed home here pretty soon. This last workshop wasn't overly interesting. I'll talk a little bit more about the day once I get home, but yeah, it's been a pretty great day overall. I'm getting a little tired, but that's okay. Hey, so I'm back in my apartment, home from the conference. It was incredible. Like I said, the last workshop wasn't that great, but you know, whatever. But the first 2 were incredible, and oh my goodness, the keynote speaker. If you haven't ever read 13 Reasons Why, Milo, oh my goodness, it's such a good book. You have to read it. To any of our viewers, read 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. It's really, really, really good. But yeah, it was a really cool conference. I was able to have an interesting say on some things since I am kind of an older youth who's still receiving services. And so I was able to kind of give my opinion on some like things that have happened as I've grown up, but then also things that I want to happen in the future. And then I was able to kind of be an interesting voice in some of the workshops. So that was really cool. I really appreciate the fact that the program that I'm getting this apartment through, the transitional living program that I'm in, the conference was like run by that organization, and I'm really glad that they were willing to pay for it for me. And hopefully I can go again next year. Well, thank you to all our viewers for watching this video. Hope you found it interesting. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. Share it with all your friends. Milo, I hope you're having a good week. I hope you have a good rest of the week. Talk to you soon, friend. Bye.